Before we begin, I want you to pause for a moment and really listen, not with your ears, but with that quiet part of you that has been surviving for a long time. This message is not for everyone. It is for the person who feels tired of being strong, for the one who keeps going while carrying invisible wounds, for the one who wonders if this pain will ever end. If you have ever felt trapped in a situation where love hurts, where fear has become normal, where silence feels safer than speaking, then this is for you. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to hear is not just motivation, it is a reminder of who you were before fear took over and who you can still become. You may not feel powerful right now, but power does not always arrive as confidence. Sometimes it arrives as clarity. And today, clarity can change everything. Awareness is the moment the fog lifts, the moment you stop blaming yourself for the pain you are enduring and start seeing the truth for what it is. For many people trapped in domestic violence, the abuse does not announce itself loudly at first. It creeps in quietly, disguised as concern, jealousy framed as love, control masked as protection. Over time, this slow erosion makes you question your instincts, your memory, your worth. Awareness breaks that spell. It is the internal shift where you stop asking, what is wrong with me, and start asking, why is this happening to me? That single change in perspective is powerful enough to begin dismantling years of manipulation. When you become aware, you begin to name things honestly. You recognize that constant criticism is not motivation, that isolation is not care, that fear is not love. Awareness gives language to experiences you may have felt but never understood. Once something has a name, it loses its ability to hide. Abuse thrives in confusion and silence, but it weakens when exposed to clarity. The abuser's power often depends on your uncertainty, on your hope that things will change if you try harder or stay quieter. Awareness removes that false hope and replaces it with truth. This truth can be painful at first. It may feel overwhelming to admit that someone you trusted is harming you, or that the life you imagined is not the life you are living. But pain that comes from awareness is different from the pain of denial. Denial keeps you stuck. Awareness creates movement. It allows you to see patterns instead of isolated incidents, cycles instead of accidents. You start to understand that the abuse is not random and not caused by your mistakes, but by someone else's need for control. Awareness also reconnects you with yourself. Abuse disconnects you from your intuition, teaching you to ignore your inner voice. When awareness returns, that voice grows stronger. You begin to notice how your body reacts, how your energy drops, how fear shows up before words do. You start trusting yourself again, and trust is the foundation of escape. Without awareness, any attempt to leave feels confusing and dangerous. With awareness, even staying becomes a conscious choice rather than a trap. Most importantly, awareness reminds you that what you are experiencing is not normal and not permanent. It shows you that other realities exist beyond the one you are surviving in. You realize that peace is not too much to ask for, that safety is a right, not a reward. Awareness does not demand immediate action, but it quietly prepares you for it. It shifts your identity from someone who endures to someone who observes, understands, and begins to reclaim power. The moment awareness enters your life, the cycle of violence starts to weaken, because you are no longer asleep inside your own story. You are not the cause of the abuse, no matter how many times you were told you are, no matter how often blame was shifted onto your shoulders, no matter how convincing the accusations sounded in moments of fear or exhaustion. Abuse survives by rewriting reality, by making you believe that if you spoke differently, acted differently, loved harder, stayed quieter, or sacrificed more, the violence would stop. That belief slowly becomes a prison inside your mind. It keeps you trapped not by locked doors, but by guilt. Understanding that the abuse is not your fault is one of the most difficult truths to accept, because it forces you to release a false sense of control. If it were your fault, then fixing yourself would fix the situation. But abuse is not a reaction to your behavior. It is a decision made by someone who chooses control over respect. No healthy relationship requires fear to function. No loving partner needs to intimidate, degrade, threaten, isolate, or hurt you to feel secure. Abuse is not caused by stress, anger, jealousy, childhood trauma, or external pressure. Those may be excuses, but they are not causes. Many people experience stress without becoming abusive. Many people feel anger without choosing violence. The difference is not you. The difference is choice. When someone repeatedly chooses to harm, manipulate, or dominate, that responsibility belongs to them alone. Blame is one of the strongest weapons used against victims because it keeps them silent and compliant. When you believe you are the problem, you spend all your energy trying to fix yourself instead of protecting yourself. You analyze every word you say, every action you take, walking carefully to avoid triggering another explosion. Over time, this self-blame erodes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as a person with needs and boundaries and start seeing yourself as a problem that needs managing. This is not humility. This is conditioning. Releasing self-blame does not mean denying reality or pretending mistakes were never made. Every human being makes mistakes, but mistakes do not justify abuse. No error, no weakness, no imperfection gives anyone the right to harm you. Accountability and abuse are not the same. Accountability involves respect and growth. Abuse involves power and fear. When someone crosses that line, responsibility shifts completely away from you. When you begin to understand that you are not the cause, something profound happens inside you. Shame begins to loosen its grip. Your nervous system starts to relax. You stop viewing escape as betrayal and start seeing it as self-preservation. You realize that staying silent is not loyalty and enduring pain is not strength. Strength is clarity. Strength is refusing to carry guilt that was never yours. This understanding is not about blaming the other person endlessly. It is about freeing yourself from an internal lie that has kept you trapped. Once you stop blaming yourself, you stop negotiating with abuse. You stop believing that love requires suffering. You begin to see that you are worthy of safety simply because you exist. That realization does not instantly change your situation, but it changes you. And when you change, the system built on your self-doubt begins to collapse. Fear grows in stillness. It feeds on waiting, on imagining worst-case outcomes, on replaying threats in your mind when your body feels frozen. In situations of domestic violence, fee. AR is not accidental. It is cultivated. It is reinforced through unpredictability, punishment, and the constant message that any step you take will make things worse. Over time, fear becomes so familiar that it feels permanent, like a wall you will never get past. But fear is not a wall. It is a signal. And the moment you begin to act, even in the smallest ways, its power starts to shrink. Action does not mean confrontation or sudden escape. Action begins internally. It starts when you allow yourself to think differently, when you stop silencing your instincts, when you admit to yourself that you are afraid for a reason. That shift alone weakens fear because fear relies on confusion and self-doubt. When you gain clarity, fear loses its mystery. You begin to see it not as proof of danger everywhere, but as a response to a specific situation that can be changed. Small actions create momentum. Gathering information, quietly learning about your rights, saving a little money, memorizing important numbers, documenting incidents, or simply talking honestly with someone you trust are all acts of resistance. These actions do not eliminate fear immediately, but they change your relationship with it. Instead of fear controlling your decisions begin to contain fear. You realize that fear does not mean stop. It means proceed carefully. Each step you take proves to your mind that you are not as powerless as you were led to believe. Fear also shrinks because action restores a sense of agency. Abuse takes away your sense of control, making life feel like something that happens to you rather than something you participate in. When you act, even quietly, you reclaim ownership over your life. That ownership calms your nervous system. Your body begins to understand that you are no longer completely trapped. Confidence does not come before action, it comes from action. Courage is not a feeling you wait for, it is a muscle you build through movement. Many people stay because they believe leaving will destroy everything. Fear exaggerates the unknown and minimizes the cost of staying. Action reverses that illusion. When you take steps forward, you start seeing options you could not see before. You realize that help exists, that support is real, that survival does not have to look the same forever. Fear tells you that one wrong move will ruin your life, but action teaches you that staying still is also a move, and often the most dangerous one. Fear may never disappear completely, and it does not need to. Fear can walk with you without leading you. The goal is not to become fearless, but to become responsive instead of paralyzed. Each action you take, no matter how small, sends a message to your mind that you are capable of protecting yourself. That message grows stronger with repetition. Over time, fear no longer defines your limits. It becomes background noise while you build a safer path forward, step by step, reclaiming strength you never actually lost. Reaching out for support is one of the most misunderstood acts for someone living in domestic violence. You may have been taught that strength means handling everything alone, staying silent, not burdening others, proving resilience by enduring pain. Abuse reinforces this belief by isolating you, by making you feel embarrassed, ashamed, or afraid of not being believed. Over time, the idea of asking for help begins to feel like failure. But that belief was planted to keep you trapped. Support is not weakness. Support is the interruption of control. Abuse survives in isolation. When you are cut off from friends, family, resources, or even your own inner truth, the abuser's voice becomes the loudest one in your world. Seeking support breaks that imbalance. It introduces other perspectives, other truths, other reminders of who you were before fear narrowed your life. Support does not take away your independence. It restores it. It gives you choices when you were made to believe you had none. Asking for help requires courage because it means telling the truth out loud. It means naming what you have been minimizing, defending, or hiding. That honesty can feel terrifying, especially if you have been blamed or dismissed in the past. But strength is not pretending everything is fine. Strength is acknowledging reality and choosing survival over silence. When you reach for support, you are not handing your power away. You are multiplying it. Support does not always look dramatic. It can be one trusted person who listens without judgment. It can be a hotline call made quietly. It can be professional help, community resources, or a safe space where your experience is taken seriously. Each form of support creates a buffer between you and harm. It reminds your nervous system that you are not alone in carrying this weight. Humans are not meant to heal or escape in isolation. Connection is not a luxury. It is a requirement for recovery. One of the most damaging myths is that needing help means you are incapable. In reality, recognizing when you need support is a sign of clarity. It means you understand the limits of endurance and the value of preservation. Even the strongest people rely on others in moments of crisis. Strength has never meant doing everything alone. It has always meant knowing when to reach beyond yourself. Support also protects you from self-doubt. Abuse trains you to question your memory, your judgment, your worth. When someone else reflects your reality back to you with compassion, it helps rebuild trust in yourself. It confirms that what you are experiencing is real and unacceptable. That validation is not dependency, it is grounding. T helps you stand more firmly on your own truth. Accepting support does not obligate you to move faster than you're ready for. It does not erase your autonomy. You decide what steps to take and when. Support simply walks beside you, making the path less lonely and less dangerous. It gives you strength not by rescuing you, but by reminding you that you are already worthy of care, safety, and dignity. Even in moments when your voice feels small and your energy feels thin, your future is bigger than your past, even if your past feels heavy, loud, and impossible to escape. Domestic violence has a way of shrinking time, making it feel as though what you have lived through is all there will ever be. Pain repeats itself until it convinces you that this is your permanent reality, but the past only has the power you continue to give it. What happened to you may explain where you are, but it does not define where you're allowed to go. Abuse conditions you to live backward, constantly referencing old mistakes, old arguments, old wounds, and old fear. It teaches you to believe that because something happened before, it must happen again. This belief creates a false ceiling over your life. You stop dreaming, stop imagining, stop planning. You learn to survive instead of envision. But survival is not your final form. It is a phase, not an identity. The future exists independently of what has been done to you. It does not need permission from your past to unfold. Healing does not require you to erase what happened or pretend it did not hurt. Healing begins when you understand that pain does not get to dictate possibility. You can carry scars and still move forward. You can be changed and still grow. You can be hurt and still become whole. When you believe your future is larger than your past, you stop measuring your worth by what you endured. You stop seeing yourself only through the lens of damage. Instead, you begin to recognize skills you develop just to stay alive. Awareness, intuition, resilience, adaptability, strength under pressure. These are not signs of weakness. They are evidence of capacity. The same strength that helped you endure can be redirected toward building something new. Abuse often convinces you that you are behind, that you missed your chance at happiness, that it is too late to start over. That belief is another lie meant to keep you small. Growth does not operate on a deadline. There is no expiration date on peace, love, or fulfillment. The timeline you were forced into does not cancel the future you deserve. As you begin to look forward instead of backward, your choices change. You stop asking what you can tolerate and start asking what you want. You stop accepting what hurts and start seeking what heals. Your identity shifts from someone defined by what happened to someone defined by what is possible. This shift is subtle but powerful. It changes how you speak to yourself, how you imagine tomorrow, how you see your place in the world. Your past may have shaped you, but it does not own you. It does not get to decide the rest of your story. The future is open, unwritten, and responsive to the choices you make now. Every step towards safety, self-respect, and truth expands that future. You are not rebuilding from nothing. You are rebuilding from experience, and that experience, when no longer used against you, becomes the foundation for a life that is wider, stronger, and more free than anything you have known before. You have now heard the truth that changes lives. Awareness opens your eyes. Understanding that you are not the cause frees your heart from guilt. Taking action, even small action, weakens fear. Seeking support restores your strength. And believing in a future bigger than your past gives you direct eye. On. Escaping domestic violence is not about one brave moment. It is about many quiet decisions that slowly return your power to you. You are not defined by what you endured, but by what you choose next. Every step towards safety, dignity, and self-respect matters. Even if the path feels slow, you are moving forward, and forward is freedom. To everyone listening right now, I wish you courage when fear speaks loudly, clarity when confusion tries to trap you, and strength when the road feels heavy. May you find the support you deserve, the peace you have been missing, and the life you were always meant to live. Thank you for listening. Thank you for believing in yourself enough to stay till the end, and thank you for choosing hope over silence. Your journey matters, your life matters, and your future is waiting.